after 9/11, and this money is sloshing all over the place, but it's not real money. So that's why people are running into things like the stock market and real estate trying to move this money. There is so much money. I mean, if you haven't made a couple of $1 million in the last month, you missed out on the biggest boom in history. Now, the problem with all bubbles is they burst. And as soon as people realize that the U.S. dollar is not worth what it's worth, that's when it will start to come down, which is not too long away. So that's why I don't like speculating in real estate. I buy a lot of real estate, but it's got a cash flow. So that's basically my answer. You can go to my website and you can see my article on All Booms Bust. And I also quote the Economist magazine in there. So this is a big one. And the good news is every time the markets bust, it's the best time to get rich. You know, when the stock market has a crash or the real estate market has a crash, that's like, you know, Macy's or Dillard's having a sale. And the trouble is the consumers run away. You know, consumers will run into Macy's when they have a sale. But when the stock market or the real estate market has a sale, they run away from it. It's really silly behavior.
So when you buy real estate, you don't buy it at a loss hoping that the price will go up.
No.
You make sure that it has a positive cash flow from the very beginning.
In about 90% of my investments, yeah. If it doesn't put money in my pocket today, I don't buy it. I don't count on tomorrow.
Do you advise that people purchase real estate out of state, or should they just keep it in their local area where they can control it better?
If you haven't bought real estate, you should stay within a 5-mile radius of your house, because real estate will cause you lots of problems. Real estate is a management issue. But the reason I like it is my banker will give me as much money as I want to buy it. So the key is can you identify a good piece of real estate? If you can, bankers will line up to give you the money. And that's the best thing about it, because I don't like saving money. I'd rather use my bank's money.
And you have real estate investments, and you invest in the stock market, and, of course, you've created products that bring in passive income.
That's correct. I call it, you know. But in the stock market, even that, I don't invest in stocks. They're my stocks. I mean, I took the companies public.
Ah, okay.
I am an entrepreneur. And when I was 9 years old, like that woman calling in about an 8-year-old son, if you play the cash flow game, you'll see that the overall objective is to train your child to be the next Bill Gates or Anita Roddick type.
Before we open up for another question, do you think Kim would mind coming on and giving women some final advice, too?
I think that's a great idea. Here she is.
Hello.
Hi, Kim. We're opening up for some questions.
Okay.
And so we're wondering if you could give us some final words of advice for women and also take some questions about women and finances.
Oh, be happy to. You know, I travel all over the world and I speak to women one-on-one, and they have the same questions, they have the same issues, but the silliest thing I hear them say is, I'm not smart enough when it comes to investing. And I don't think I don't think that way, or it's all mystery to me. And I was having dinner with a girlfriend of mine the other night, and she says, you know, I'm just so intimidated by all the jargon. And I went, that's exactly where women think they're not smart enough. It's just a matter, Robert mentioned it, vocabulary. It's just jargon. And all of these, quote, experts are spewing out all this jargon, whether it's real estate or stocks or whatever. And it's really just learning the vocabulary is huge. I mean, I have a book on the vocabulary of the Wall Street Journal. I have a dictionary on real estate. You know, and you just start to learn the jargon because they love to use it. I don't know why. I don't know why they love to use it so much, but they do. And maybe it makes them feel smarter or something. But I think one of the first steps for women, it's not, I mean, I'm somebody that knew absolutely nothing about money or real estate or investing. And I just started learning it on my own and making mistakes and asking a lot of stupid questions, which really weren't stupid. But I think overall women make fabulous investors. I think they're natural investors. They tend to be more practical. They nurture their investments. All of my girlfriends who are investors, they're doing very, very well. And once they get into this whole world, they just love it. They just love it.
Let's give women some simple steps then, Kim. Let's simplify it. So I assume that step number one is take a look at your current finances. What money is your assets and liability? What money is coming in and what money is going out? What is the second step?
The second step, again, it's all education, but the second step is start small. And Robert mentioned this just a little bit, but let me elaborate on it. Start small, whether it be buying a share of stock, buying a gold coin, buying a silver coin, buying a small piece of property. start small because the other objection I hear is, I'm so afraid of making mistakes. Well, that's not even an objection because you're going to make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes as you go through this whole process. So I say start small because you'll make mistakes, but the other key is put a little money down. It's all theory in my mind. It's all theory until you put some money on the line.
So approach it from an educational point of view, that I am educating myself, and I'm practicing. I'm not becoming a millionaire right now. I'm just practicing and getting comfortable with money.
Exactly. You go out and you buy a gold coin, and then you go to like Kitco on the web, kitco.com, and they show you the price of gold every day and what it's doing. And all of a sudden, when you have a little money on the line, you get so interested in what you put your money into.
Of course, now people don't talk openly about money, and they're not comfortable about it. Where are women going to go to for support in this?
Well, there's a lot of women's investment groups. If you go to the web or even in your neighborhood. And what I always recommend is for women to get together, because women tend to learn from other women very well. They tend to network very well. I don't recommend getting a group of women together to pool their money to invest together, because money is a very psychotic subject.
Yes.
But come together, talk about your investments, bring in, speakers or people who are investing, bring in potential deals that you can talk about and discuss. That's a great learning process for women.
And to avoid dream killers, because we all know that there are people out there who support you, and some of the people that we love and who love us the most can be dream killers. Yeah. So I suppose to choose carefully who we're going to share our new goals with.
Oh, that's a great point. Robert and we're very goal oriented, but I never share my goals I only share my goals with people I know who will support them.
Yes.
There's people in my immediate family who I don't talk to about my investments, or I don't talk to about money because they don't understand it, and they're going to tell me why it's not going to work.
Because when you're first starting out, you're vulnerable. You've never done this before. You're trying something for the first time.
That's right. And that's also why I say start small, because you want to get some small wins first.
So maybe starting with some little investments like in the stock market, or investing in coins or something like that.
Exactly. I know women that have gone out and bought the big apartment building, and then the whole thing was a disaster, and they're like, see, I told you it didn't work.
Now, what kind of books then should women be reading, or audio programs to listen to?
Well, actually, when it comes to the how-to, it's the same for men as women. How to buy a piece of real estate, how to buy stocks, how to sell stocks. The how-to is the same, so any books out there on investing, different types of investments, are good for men and for women. What I love about Homeschoolers is you're obviously into education, and you're into more advanced type or alternative education. There's a lot of good materials. Just a little plug, I am coming out with a book for women in investing.
Oh, excellent.
Which will probably be out later next year.
Not till next year.
Yeah.
And of course, now the cash flow game is not cheap. It's not the price of a board game, but if you approach it as curriculum, financial curriculum, and then we always encourage families to share it. Get 2 or 3 other families to invest in the game with you, and then play it together and pass it around.
Yeah, what we found out is we did a lot of success stories. We did a book on success stories. People have taken the Rich Dad information and used it. And what we were surprised to find, about 90% of people who have implemented the information, and they have portfolios, and they're out of debt, and they're doing things, they're taking action, play the game regularly. And what I also love about the Homeschoolers is this is a game you can play with your kids, and as you learn investing, you're right there with your kids to teach them as well.
And one of the best ways to learn something is to teach it to somebody else.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think in fact the cash flow game is probably a great way to start, because it's not scary. You're not really losing any money, but you're getting comfortable with dealing with the large numbers.
Right. You're learning the vocabulary, you're learning strategies, and you're using play money.
That's excellent. Kim, let's open up the call and take a question.
Okay.
Thank you. First question, please, for Kim Kiyosaki.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we
I can hear you.
My husband and I are in our 50s, and he hasn't saved in his 401. We really basically haven't saved at all, but we still have mortgage. Mm-hmm. What would you suggest for people our age as a beginning? And we do homeschool.
Oh, good.
Kim, let me repeat that question. Okay. She and her husband are in their 50s, and she's wondering, what do you suggest for a beginning? That they have a 401k.
Right. And I never give advice in terms of what to do with your 401k. You do what you need to do with that. In terms of investing, age is never the issue. It's just a matter of getting out there and talking to people and getting started and getting into some